It was faster, it was stealthier, and it had a longer range. By several key metrics, the Northrop YF-23 was shaping up to be the most advanced tactical fighter the world had ever seen. This was the aircraft designed to be the undisputed king of the 21st century sky. So why is it the F-22 Raptor flying today, while the YF-23 is a museum piece?
This is the story of the genius aircraft that never got its chance, and the controversial decision that sealed its fate. Our story begins in the final tense decades of the Cold War. In the late 1970s, U.S. intelligence was getting its first real look at the Soviet Union's brand-new fighters. Planes like the agile Mikoyan MiG-29 and the powerful Sukhoi Su-27 were a massive leap forward for Soviet air power. For the first time since Vietnam, the West's air superiority, built on the back of the mighty F-15 Eagle, was facing a real challenge. The F-15 was an incredible fighter, able to hold its own against these new Soviet jets. But the U.S. Air Force has a simple principle: always stay on top. They knew they couldn't stand still. They needed more than an upgrade. They needed a generational leap. The answer was the Advanced Tactical Fighter Program, or ATF. The requirements were mind-boggling for the time, bordering on science fiction. The Air Force wanted a fighter that could fuse unprecedented levels of stealth with the ability to supercruise, flying at sustained supersonic speeds without burning through fuel with afterburners. This combination would allow the ATF to sneak deep into heavily defended airspace, pick its fights, and engage enemy aircraft at long range before being detected. It was a call to build the ultimate air superiority machine. In 1986, the Air Force narrowed a field of aerospace giants down to 2 teams for a final head-to-head competition. On one side, a powerhouse team of Lockheed, Boeing, and General Dynamics with their YF-22. On the other, a partnership of Northrop and McDonnell Douglas, who brought a radical, futuristic design to the table, the YF-23. The stage was set for one of the biggest showdowns in military aviation history. From the moment it was unveiled, the Northrop YF-23 looked unlike any conventional fighter. Its sleek, flowing lines and futuristic shape earned it the unofficial nickname Black Widow II. Every aspect of its design reflected a single goal: maximize speed and stealth. Northrop applied the experience gained from developing the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber to the YF-23. The aircraft featured a trapezoidal diamond wing seamlessly blended into the fuselage, and an all-moving V-tail with sharply angled surfaces instead of a traditional tail. The entire airframe was carefully shaped to reduce radar reflection from all angles. Stealth was only part of the design. The YF-23 was also built for speed. The program tested 2 advanced engines, the Pratt & Whitney YF-119 and the General Electric YF-120. Air was fed through S-shaped ducts to hide the engine blades from radar, and the exhaust passed through wide, flat, single-expansion ramp nozzles, CERNs, which helped reduce heat and infrared signature. The aircraft demonstrated remarkable performance. While exact top speeds remain classified, publicly available estimates suggest it could supercruise at around Mach 1.72 and reach over Mach 2 with afterburners. Its service ceiling was approximately 65,000 feet, and ferry range is estimated at around 2,800 miles. On paper, the YF-23 was a fast, high-altitude stealth fighter capable of engaging targets at long distances. Its design emphasized avoiding detection and striking from range, principles that continue to influence modern stealth aircraft. While Northrop chased a revolution in speed and stealth, the Lockheed team took a slightly more conservative, though still incredibly advanced, path with the YF-22. It looked more like a direct, albeit much stealthier, descendant of the F-15 it was meant to replace. Its design was more conventional, but it was packed with its own sophisticated stealth features. By most accounts, it was a very low observable aircraft, even if many analysts believed the YF-23 had the edge in this department. But the YF-22 had a game-changing ace up its sleeve: thrust vectoring.
The nozzles on its Pratt & Whitney YF-119 engines could move up and down by 20 degrees, deflecting the engine's massive thrust. This tech gave the YF-22 a level of maneuverability that was simply jaw-dropping. It allowed the pilot to make incredibly tight turns, point the aircraft's nose at extreme angles, and keep control at low speeds where a normal plane would just stall and fall out of the sky.
The two design philosophies were now in direct conflict. The YF-23 team at Northrop bet everything on a future where air combat would be fought from beyond visual range. In their eyes, stealth and speed were everything. A dogfight was a relic of the past. The enemy should be destroyed with long-range missiles before they ever got close. They intentionally left off thrust vectoring, seeing it as heavy, complex, and a potential weak spot for the plane's rear stealth. Lockheed, however, hedged their bets. They built a superb stealth fighter, but refused to give up on the art of the dogfight. They argued that no matter how good missiles got, close-quarters combat could never be completely ruled out. The Air Force's culture, filled with stories of fighter aces, was deeply in love with the idea of the agile dogfighter. The YF-22, with its thrust vectoring, promised to be one of the most agile fighters ever built.
It could outturn and outmaneuver anything in the sky, a powerful argument for pilots who might one day face swarms of nimble MiGs and Sukhois. This was the central question of the competition: the YF-23's pure speed and stealth versus the YF-22's balance of stealth and extreme agility. The flight demonstration phase kicked off in the summer of 1990. The first YF-23, PAV-1, took to the skies on August 27th, with the second, PAV-2, following in October. Over the next few months, the two YF-23s flew 50 test flights, logging 65.2 hours in the air. From a technical perspective, the tests were a huge success. The plane met or beat all of its performance goals for speed, altitude, and range, proving the revolutionary design worked. The Northrop team acted like scientists, carefully collecting data to prove their concept. The Lockheed team, however, took a different approach. When the YF-22 flew, its pilots didn't just check off data points, they put on a show. They aggressively pushed the plane, showcasing its spectacular capabilities in a very visual and dramatic way. During the flight tests, the YF-22 performed high angle of attack maneuvers, pulled punishing 9G turns, and, in a particularly memorable demonstration, conducted live missile launches, something the YF-23 team didn't do. This difference in strategy turned out to be critical. The Northrop team was confident in their technical superiority and believed the data would speak for itself. They chose not to perform the same high-risk maneuvers as the YF-22, perhaps believing it was unnecessary. In hindsight, this was a major miscalculation. While engineers might have been impressed by the YF-23's numbers, Air Force leaders and pilots were captivated by the YF-22's raw agility. As one observer put it, perception is reality. The YF-22 looked like a world-beating dogfighter. The YF-23, for all its incredible capabilities, came across as more reserved. In the battle for hearts and minds, the visual spectacle of the YF-22 gave it a decisive edge. On April 23, 1991, the Air Force announced its decision. The winner of the Advanced Tactical Fighter competition was the Lockheed YF-22. The Northrop team was shocked. By so many key metrics, speed, range, and stealth, their aircraft was arguably the superior machine. So what happened? Why did their machine lose? The choice wasn't based on a single factor, but a complex mix of performance, perception, and politics. The most cited reason was maneuverability. The Air Force, while looking toward a future of long-range combat, wasn't ready to give up on the dogfight. The YF-22's demonstrated super maneuverability, thanks to its thrust vectoring nozzles, was a powerful feature the YF-23 didn't have.
The second factor was program management and risk. The Lockheed team was seen as having run a more convincing program. Their willingness to show off the plane's full potential gave the Air Force more confidence they could deliver a finished product. Conversely, Northrop was facing heat over major cost overruns and delays on the B-2 bomber program. This may have made the Pentagon nervous about handing another massive and important program to the company. The YF-22, being a slightly more conventional design, was seen as the lower-risk bet. Finally, there was pure showmanship. Lockheed's aggressive flight demos created the perception of a more combat-ready platform. The team didn't just sell an aircraft, they sold a complete weapon system, and they did it more effectively. The decision wasn't just about which plane was better, but which team the Air Force trusted more to manage a colossal program. In the end, the combination of dazzling agility, perceived lower risk, and a superior sales pitch won the day for Lockheed.
After the competition, the two YF-23 prototypes were retired. Their engines were removed, and they were transferred briefly to NASA before ultimately becoming museum pieces. Today, they stand as silent monuments to what might have been. Prototype PAV-1, the original Black Widow II, is at the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force in Ohio. Prototype PAV-2, nicknamed Gray Ghost, is on display at the Western Museum of Flight in California. The YF-22, of course, was developed into the F-22 Raptor, which entered service in December 2005 and is regarded as one of the most dominant air superiority fighters in history. But the debate over the ATF decision has never really stopped. Aviation fans and military experts still argue that the Air Force made the wrong choice. They say that in modern warfare, where fights are increasingly won from a distance, the YF-23 would have been far more valuable than the Raptor. With adversaries developing their own stealth aircraft, the ability to see first and shoot first from further away, the very doctrine the YF-23 was built for, seems more critical than ever. Interestingly, the YF-23's design philosophy is far from dead. Observers have noted that some concept art for the Navy's next-generation FA-XX fighter shows a design with a striking resemblance to the YF-23's tailless, diamond wing shape. It seems the ideas that made the Black Widow II so revolutionary might have just been ahead of their time. The principles of all-aspect stealth and high-speed, long-range performance are once again at the forefront of fighter design. The Northrop YF-23 remains one of history's great what-ifs. It was a machine born from a radical vision for the future of air combat. Was it too advanced for its time? Or was it simply the right plane in the wrong competition, judged on the battles of the past instead of the future? We may never know for sure. But what is certain is that the Black Widow II, the Ghost Fighter, has secured its place in history, not as a weapon of war, but as an icon of engineering genius and a timeless symbol of the incredible aircraft that never got its chance. What do you think? Did the Air Force make the right call? Was the F-22's agility worth sacrificing the YF-23's superior speed and stealth? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy stories about incredible machines, make sure to like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.